Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as, investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
Alright folks, here we are on Friday, April 19th. We're going to take a look at Rumble today. So in addition to the chart here on the Webull side and on the Thinkorswim side, we're going to start off with a quick overview of the data because it is quite interesting actually. Fintel has the current short float at 18.27% with the days to cover at 23.2 days. So this is a relatively high short percentage of the float. I consider anything double digits to be high enough. And so this is well into the double digits, but that days to cover is really, really lengthy. And so that sort of stands out, as does the fee, which is currently at 31.7. It's not quite high enough yet to give me a ton of confidence that something like a short squeeze could be set off, but it's moving in that direction. And iBorrowDesk had the available shares today when I grabbed this, which was earlier in the day, at 4,000 shares to lend out. So potentially getting sort of low on the available shares to lend, and the fee, at least it's not down in the single digits. 31.7, not necessarily something to sneeze at, especially if folks are holding them for 23 days. And there is 18% of the float shorted. Now, the key component here, if there is going to be something like a short squeeze get set off, is the price needs to be moving upward. So the shorts need to be, very leveraged, meaning a high percentage of the float shorted. They're hanging on to it for a very long time and paying a relatively high fee, ideally a very high fee, but I wouldn't consider this a very high fee. And that the price is then also going against them. So those factors are sort of, to me, the golden ticket to at least give the chance for a short squeeze, which is just very, very hard to effectuate. I know there was a lot of hype several years ago, short squeeze this, short squeeze that, and folks are just kind of like willy-nilly, short squeeze can happen at any moment, and I don't take that view. So to me, interesting data points here, but again, the key components that I think are missing, clearly the missing one is the price needs to be moving up. It's been moving down, right? And these brief little reprieves of the downtrend, I don't think are going to do it. And that fee, I would like to see that fee climb into the high double digits, ideally triple digits. So we'll see if things continue moving that direction or how, what takes place there. But the most obvious indicator will be that the price starts climbing, because that's just going to be necessary. So speaking of that, we're settled right on a support level that we had on the chart for a while now. You do see this sort of like double top here, sent the stock price back down, tried to double bottom here and put in, something of sort of an M shape, and has since not really lost it, but it's just sort of like hanging on by a thread. So it's doing what I call wrestling with the 625 level. So that's going to be a pretty key area. Can it get support over 625? And if so, can it make a run at the 692? And if so, can it make a run toward the 790? Now, there is some evolution of the price structure here, giving us resistance level somewhere here around, say, 725 to 735. Pretty thin price action still, but there's something sort of taking shape there. So we might get some more clarity if it gets into that range. And again, that would at least put it in the direction of going against the shorts as well. Now, if it really gets some tailwinds, 852, 955, and 1015. If it can't hold 625, and I will preface this by saying it could sort of consolidate along 625 for quite some time, so it may just sort of pin itself there for a while and then sort of gear up for its next big move. We'll see. But if it can't hold 625, 525 and 445 are what we have on the chart currently. Again, not a ton of additional levels showing up yet, but something around here, like just under 6, seems like a likely area to me that something could sort of start to evolve. Now, on the Thinkorswim side of things, we had trigger, fire, retrigger, refire. And that sort of set off this roller coaster move where we had, sort of batting around upper bound to mid-range, and then it's lost the mid-range for the time being and is being compressed or pressed down between the lower bound of the channel down here and the mid-range, that bright blue line. Nothing tremendous happening on the TTM squeeze indicator. We see today decent buy volume coming in, so we'll see if that continues to take shape or not. And the histogram showing a pickup in bearish momentum, so sort of an interesting sort of divergence there. Histogram showing bearish momentum picking up, the volume stack showing buying volume coming in. So it could just be that it's buying in at a lower level, sort of making those two things be possible. Also, maybe sort of how the volume stack is being calculated is just a bit off, or we could say that also for the histogram as well. Now, as it pertains to the motion within the channel, if it does stay within the channel, it's a pretty wide channel, percentage-wise for sure. It could come all the way down to 564 in its current formation and stay within the channel, and all the way up to 780 and stay within the channel as well. 672 currently is the situation as it pertains to the mid-range of the channel. So we'll see if it wants to put in any motion, any attempt to retake the mid-range of that channel there. 672, not so far away from this 692 that we have on this chart. So I, sometimes look for confluence of charts to give me added confidence in motion. So, it'll be interesting to see if it, like I said, if it can take the mid-range there. Can it then actually press towards 692? If not, and it kind of continues on its range here that we talked about, the 625, it might sort of settle into the mid-range anyway by virtue of bringing the mid-range down to the price, since the channel is dynamic. So to me, that's the situation with Rumble. Kind of interesting on the data front, but if it can't really reverse trend here, it's to me unlikely that that's in and of itself going to sort of bring anything about for the bulls. And like I said, there could be potential for sort of a big drop here if it can't hold 625. And if it doesn't hold that sort of just under the $6 level that we spoke about, that could be sort of taking shape. I don't have a level down here until 525. Doesn't mean the one can't sort of come about. But you do see it's just sort of, it has typically moved relatively quickly through that range previously, and we don't have a lot to go off of. But that's sort of what I'm looking at in order to kind of make that determination. All right, folks, I hope that you enjoyed your trading week and that you have a nice weekend. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.